Hello, welcome back. I'm John, old YouTuber. I was just outside going a walk, eating a pizza. Now I'm back home. I think I'd like to read this again. List of intro processors. But I did that many months. But now I have the last many videos. I've been reading about all the different Intel processors, i3, i5, i7, i9, the dual core Pentium, all kind of processors. So I like to read this list again. So this is why this list of Intel processors, that's not a complete list, because that's not possible, because there's so many other processors, so there will be like 500 pages. So that's not all Intel processors is on this list. Only a part of. But I like to read something else than just some weird numbers, weird processor numbers for computers. I like to read something real with some text. So I cannot finish this today because it will take 2, 3 or 4 hours to read this list. Although 4 to 5 hours. But I just finished charging. Just finished charging this camcorder. So I like to have my jacket on. My fleece jackets. So when I'm finished read this list of Intel processors, I can read the next many months. I just read some normal PDF with some text. I'm not going to read this again, only maybe like 10 years. No, this list of Intel processors, I have to read it again in a few years. And I'm uploading a lot of video from my walk. And I was eating a pizza, so I need to take a break in like 20 minutes. So I can put some video public. But they have not updated. We have the 13th generation. The 13th generation is not on this list. That's like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm checking my cell phone. And drinking, so I need a minute. I need a minute to do myself ready. Because I cannot sit here. I have to lay in my bed because my back is hurting a little bit. So let's read it again. Show, read loud, read to end of documents.
List of Intel processors. Intel Haswell Core i7-4771 CPU sitting atop its original packaging that contains an OEM fan-cooled heat-sinks generational list of Intel processors attempts to present all of Intel's processors from the pioneering 4-bit 4004, 1971, to the present high-end offerings. Concise technical data is given for each product. Contents. Latest 12th generation Core desktop, codenamed Alder Lake. Mobile, codenamed Alder Lake. 11th generation Core desktop, codenamed Rocket Lake. Mobile, codenamed Tiger Lake. 10th generation Core desktop, codenamed Comet Lake. Mobile, codenamed Comet Lake, Ice Lake, and Amber Lake. 9th generation Core desktop, codenamed Coffee Lake Refresh. 8th generation Core desktop, codenamed Coffee Lake. Mobile, codenamed Coffee Lake, Amber Lake and Whiskey Lake. 7th generation Core desktop, codenamed Cabby Lake and Sky Lake X. Mobile, codenamed Cabby Lake and Apollo Lake. All processors: the 4-bit processors Intel 4004, Intel 4040, the 8-bit processors 8008, 8080, 8085, microcontrollers Intel 8048, Intel 8051, Intel 80151, Intel 80251, MCS 96 family, the bit slice processor 3000 family, the 16-bit processors, MCS 86 family 8086, 8088, 80186, 80188, 80286, 32-bit processors, the non-x86 microprocessor SiAPX 432, i960 aka 80960, i860 aka 80860, X-Scale. 32-bit processors, the 80386 range 80386DX, 80386SX, 80376, 80386SL, 80386X. 32-bit processors, the 80486 range 80486DX, 80486SX, 80486DX2, 80486SL, 80486DX4. 32-bit processors, 5P microarchitecture original Pentium. Pentium with MMX technology. 32-bit processors, P6/Pentium M microarchitecture Pentium Pro. Pentium 2. Celeron, Pentium 2 based. Pentium 3. Pentium 2 Xeon and Pentium 3 Xeon. Celeron, Pentium 3 Coppermine based. Pentium 3 Tualatin based. Celeron, Pentium 3 Tualatin based. Pentium M. Celeron M. Intel Core. Dual Core Xeon LV. 32-bit processors, NetBurst microarchitecture Pentium 4. Xeon, 32-bit NetBurst. Mobile Pentium 4M. Pentium 4E. Pentium 4E. 64-bit processors, IA64 Itanium. Itanium 2. 64-bit processors, Intel 64 NetBurst microarchitecture Pentium 4F. Pentium D. Pentium Extreme Edition. Xeon, 64-bit NetBurst. 64-bit processors, Intel 64 core microarchitecture. Xeon, 64-bit core microarchitecture. Intel Core 2. Pentium Dual Core. Celeron, 64-bit core microarchitecture. Celeron M, 64-bit core microarchitecture. 64-bit processors, Intel 64 Nehalem microarchitecture. Intel Pentium, Nehalem. Core i3, first generation. Core i5, first generation. Core i7, first generation. Xeon, Nehalem microarchitecture. 64-bit processors, Intel 64 Sandy Bridge /Ivy Bridge microarchitecture. Celeron, Sandy Bridge /Ivy Bridge microarchitecture. Pentium, Sandy Bridge /Ivy Bridge microarchitecture. Core i3, second and third generation. Core i5, second and third generation. Core i7, second and third generation. 64-bit processors, Intel 64 Haswell microarchitecture. Core i3, 4th generation. 64-bit processors, Intel 64 Broadwell microarchitecture. Core i3, 5th generation. Core i5, 5th generation. Core i7, 5th generation, including Core X series. Other Broadwell CPUs. 64-bit processors, Intel 64 Skylake microarchitecture. Core i3, 6th generation. Core i5, 6th generation. Core i7, 6th generation. Other Skylake processors. 64-bit processors, Intel 64, 7th generation, Kaby Lake microarchitecture. 64-bit processors, Intel 64, 8th and 9th generation, Coffee Lake microarchitecture. 64-bit processors, Intel 64 Cannon Lake microarchitecture. 64-bit processors, Intel 64, 10th generation, Ice Lake microarchitecture. 64-bit processors, Intel 64, 10th generation, Comet Lake microarchitecture. 64-bit processors, Intel 64, 11th generation, Tiger Lake microarchitecture. 64-bit processors, Intel 64, 12th generation, Alder Lake microarchitecture. Intel Triscale. Intel 805XX product codes. Intel 806XX product codes. Intel 807XX product codes. See also. References. External links. Latest. 12th generation Core. Desktop, codenamed Alder Lake. Processor family model cores clock rate, GHz, integrated graphics card shape, W. Price, USD, launch Beija Core Turbo Max. Turbo Max 3.0 GPU clock rate maximum use 2 cache smart key base turbo thread speed Core i9-12900K8200.22.45.13.95.2 UHD 770155 GHZ3214 MB 30 MB 125241 $589 Q420211290 KF $5691290 KS 3.42.55.24.05.55.3 UHD 7701.55 GHz 3215024 $739 Q12022.41.85.03.85.065202 F $4641290 T1.41.04.83.64.9 UHD 7701.55 GHz 3235106 $489 Core i7 12700 K8420.62.74.93.85.015 GHZ12 MB 25 MB 125190 $409 Q420211270 KF 384127002.11.64.83.9 UHD 7701.5 GHz 3265180 $339Q120221270 F$3141270 T1.41.04.63.44.7 UHD 7701.5 GHz 323,595 Core i5-12600K6100 GHz 9.5 MB 20 MB 1251550 $289Q420211260 KF$2641260000123.3-4.8 4.8 UHD 7701.45 GHz 327.5 MB 18 MB 65117 $223 Q120221260 T2.14.64.635741250 $3.0651117 $2021250 T2.04.4435741240 UHD 7301.45 GHz 2465117 $1921240 F$1671240 T1.84.24.2 UHD 7301.45 GHz 2435740 $192 Core i3-1230048.3.54.4-5 MB 12 MB 6089 $1431230 T2.34.23569 $121,003.34.36089 $1221210 F$9712100 T2.24.1 UHD 7301.45 GHz 2435569 $122 Pentium G7400243.7 UHD 7101.35 GHz 162.5 MB 6 MB $46.64 G7400 T3.135 Celeron G69002 GHz 4 MB $46.42 G6900 T2.835 Mobile, codenamed Alder Lake. This section is an incomplete list. Processor family model price, USD, cores threads clock rate, gigahertz, cache, Bezier Core Turbo Boost. 3.0 L1 L2 PEPEPE Core i9991290 HK $6356820 5.03.85.01.2235 I91290 H $617 Core i7-i7-12800 H $4574.83.74.8 I7-12700 H $4.73.54.7 I7-12650 H $6416864 KB15.5 I7-1280p $4826820.83.64.81.223.5 I7-1270p $4384816.3.51.121 I7-1265 U $4262812.3.6928 KB 18.5 I7-1260 U 4.73.54.7 i7 1260p $4384816.3.41.121 i7 1255 u $4262812.3.5928 kb 18.5 i7 1250 u 11th generation core. Desktop, codenamed Rocket Lake.